This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm joined by Adam Smith. For people that don't know, there's a table tennis
thing going on
with Alan Babbage, so we don't want to interrupt Alan Babbage, obviously.
No, he's really into it, actually. He's as aggressive on the table as he is in the ring, and we look forward to tomorrow night when we see him back.
Absolutely, we'll come on to that in a little while. Okay, I don't really know. Well, I do know where to start. A huge announcement from Sky Sports today that they've licensed deals with, first of all, Top Rank and also Boxer, which is the prize fighter S tournament that has been featuring on our screens over the last couple of years or so. So, yeah, Adam, big changes going on at Sky Sports at the moment. Talk me through kind of the announcement today, first of all.
Yeah, it's a huge announcement, and we're really, really excited about it. Yeah, big changes. You know, we've worked obviously with Eddie for 10 years or so exclusively with Matchroom. We've had some wonderful nights, and you know, he takes his Matchroom stable to Dazn, and we've been in boxing for 30 years, as you know, year in, year out, and we thought about what we wanted to do, and we've decided that we want to go in a slightly different direction. We're going to bring more content than ever before. That content is going to be mixed between a 4-year deal with Top Rank, which is going to give us all the American, the big names, some of the pound-for-pound fighters. Obviously, it's actually international, global stable, isn't it? Of course, the likes of Josh Taylor, and we start with Shaka Stevenson tomorrow after the Newcastle show in the early hours of Sunday morning. We've got Inoue, we've got Vasyl Lomachenko. That's a great start for us straight away. So we're going to be bringing you, a lot of Top Rank output. We're going to be bringing archive as well. So it's hours and hours of archive, which obviously we've got fantastic stuff. Huge amounts of shows, up to sort of 18, 20 Top Rank shows a year. And then we've got a sort of separate thing with Boxer. And this is really exciting because, Ben Shalom's the youngest promoter in licensed promoter in Britain. He's obviously had a real go with the tournaments, which have been exciting, different, and he's got a fresh attitude. He's going to be providing 14 plus shows in the UK a year, and we'll have a whole, we'll probably have almost a show a week. It's going to be fantastic, with the archive tagged on, and it feels like boxing is really back on a sort of full scale level. We couldn't do so much international stuff when we had the Matchroom deal. I'd love to have done, for example, the Josh Taylor fight recently, but now this gives us a change in direction. It means that we're open for business. It means that Ben's going to be working with different promoters to bring us different fighters, and we're going to have a look at them and decide sort of what we think is right for each and every month. The mixture of the big shows, the small shows. We're going to. I don't think anything's actually small anymore, but we're certainly going to be looking at grassroots. We've got a great understanding with the British board. We're going to be supporting each other, and we're going to look at real diverse sort of content. Initiatives that are going to help the development of boxing at grassroots level, and obviously the big names that are going to come on the big platforms. Sky Sports Box Office, and of course we know about our arsenal with Sky Sports News and all the other things that we bring, Sky One and the entertainment angles, and we feel that we've got a great platform that we can provide more and more content, and it's going to be an interesting few months. Obviously Eddie's got a huge stable that's going to Dazn, and it's a sort of weird time for us all, and we've worked brilliantly together, but we go our separate ways, and this is business, and we've got a different sort of approach going forwards. And I think I've worked with Ben in the last sort of few weeks, and he's very excited. He's a bright sort of entrepreneur, and he wants to work with other people. He's very happy to sort of work with managers and other promoters, and that's a really refreshing attitude. So that's good. So we've sort of got a bit of a blank canvas on that, and we expect to sort of bring some massive fights to Sky, and then of course Top Rank. We've got a proven sort of American powerhouse who are going to month in, month out, give us some cracking entertainment. So I think the message is more content than ever before, both sides of the pond, and a really exciting period, an enticing period for the team and for the whole of Sky Sports to get behind these two big new deals, which are 4 years each, so it's a real commitment. We've been in boxing for 30 years, and we ramp it up, KUGAN, and we go again. It's very, very good. It's exciting.
We'll come on to the Top Rank deal in a second, but yeah, I just wanted you to kind of talk me through the deal with Boxer and Ben Shalom. And I'm very aware of Ben Shalom. I've worked with Ben Shalom on Boxer. I've presented actually for Boxer.
And did a very good job.
Thank you, Adam. And I know that he's kind of one of the up-and-coming people in boxing that people may not be too familiar with. They will very shortly, shall we say. But Adam, how does it work in terms of working with other promoters? I mean, is it kind of an open book? Is there a certain amount of promoters that you guys are willing to work with or going to be working with, or is it kind of what fits at the right time? How's it going to work?
I think it's all about Sky Sports Boxing, KUGAN. It's all about that brand. It's all about the fact that we want to give our customers the very best we can. You know, it's an exciting deal because it's both sides of the pond. You know, we've got the Top Rank stance, and everybody knows who Top Rank are, and then we've got the freshness of Ben's Boxer, because you know they've gone under the radar a little bit. He's got a great team assembled, and you know, we've had a fantastic team at Sky Sports behind the scenes for many years. But I think, you know, we need to collaborate. We need to really sort of align together and work out what's the best for Sky, and that's what we really like about Ben. It's about Sky, it's about the platform, and it's about bringing the best fight. So look, if we look at PBC, or we look at, you know, some of the other managers and promoters here, your likes of, you know, Wasserman, your likes of Steve Wood, your likes of, you know, Mick Hennessy, or anyone really, it doesn't matter. It's a fact that if we can get great fights onto Sky at all sorts of different levels, then Ben will look at that, and I'll look at that, and it's a great team because Ben's working with John Wischusen, who you and I know very well. John was at Matchroom for many years, a couple of decades, and obviously he's done more independent work since, and he's a very wise guy. He's a great guy in boxing, and I like that sort of the blend that he's got, that, you know, that Ben's, you know, a young guy. He obviously doesn't know boxing like John does, but he's passionate about it. He's got entrepreneurial sort of drive, and he's got ideas and vision, which is very enticing and appealing. But obviously there's John there to sort of, you know, navigate through difficult waters, as we know in the boxing world. And you know, I had a relationship a little bit like that when I took over head of boxing at Sky. I had the best historian, in my opinion, out there that there ever has been in Britain. That's Bob Mee, and Bob was like my counsel. Bob was my advice, and I always sort of, you know, I stayed very close to him, because, you know, I was like, right, I was young and I wanted to get, you know, I wanted to try and sort of roll the dice all the time, and he just steadied the ship a little bit and made sure that we were making, you know, the right decisions in the boxing market too. And I think that's what I really like about Ben and John. I say I've worked with John for many years, you know, going back to when I started at Sky in 1994, and you know, we've worked on little shows, big shows, every show, and he's always been a fantastic guy, and when he was at Matchroom to work with. So I think the team are really pleased that John Wischusen's on board, and I'm really excited about Ben. I didn't know Ben. Obviously I knew about the boxing tournaments. I've seen him at work, and I'd spoken to him before, but I didn't know him very well. But I've got to know him over the last few weeks, and you know, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with his attitude. He's all in. He's passionate. He wants to drive boxing on Sky, and it's refreshing. So I think, in a long-winded answer to your question, I think we are open for business, and I think, you know, Ben and John will be looking to work with all sorts of different people to get the best fighters and fights, and give opportunities maybe that weren't there before, which is great. And you know, it's we've worked very closely with Matchroom and very well, and they've got this huge stable. But there's a lot of other fighters out there, a lot of other managers out there, a lot of other promoters that maybe people haven't seen so far. Well, now they've got a platform. You know, come and see us. We're ready, and we're waiting for you.
So, Adam, in layman's terms, promoters in the UK are free to approach Sky Sports with potential fights or shows, and like you just said there, it's an open table for discussion. Whether you go through with that or not is a different situation, but is that the kind of situation you're in now, where promoters can come to you with specific fights or fight nights for you to consider?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not quite roll up, but it is sort of, you know, we've got a load of fights, dates. We've got, you know, on both sides of the pond. Remember, Top Rank have got a massive deal with ESPN, so that's really enticing for fighters now that can appear on Sky and then go in America, and they'll be shown on ESPN as well. So there's a lot there. Obviously, there's the big box office market we've got, and we've got the history of building stars. You know, your likes of Ricky Hatton and David Hay, and Carl Froch, when he came over, did a few fights on Sky Sports, then into Sky Sports box office. Anthony Joshua from start to finish, of course, and we look forward to his next fight. Hopefully Alexander Usyk back end of September at Spurs. And look, it's a really exciting time, and I think it's an opportunity for fighters to look at it and think, okay, we want to be part of the Sky story. We want to be the next chapter, the next instalment, because we've done it for a long time. We also need to look at ourselves and think, okay, this is a changing era. We've seen what Dazn are doing. We've seen the explosion in social and digital, and we're very powerful in the digital market on Sky, just after football. We're probably the number 2 there. We do big numbers, and so we're going to be looking very much across the whole sort of different platforms at how we can bring boxing in a different way, different generations. Obviously, we've dipped our toe into the YouTube market with KSI and Logan Paul, and most recently the strange one with Mayweather and Logan Paul. So we're open for different sort of events. What attracts different people, younger generation, but also your traditional boxing fans as well. So we want to cater for everybody. But Ben and John will be looking at sort of who approaches and who comes to us, and we'll be deciding probably on a pretty adaptable, flexible basis what's best for Sky Sports Boxing. And we look at September and then October and then November, and I think we'll obviously have certain things in place, but I think it's very important to be able to adapt fast in a market and a business which is so ever changing in boxing. We know that it's 24/7, and what I like about Ben is he seems to be straight away a 24/7 person. That's what Eddie is, and if we're gonna go again, my passion and my drive. Well, everybody's got that now. We want to really bring a different feel and a different look to Sky Sports Boxing, whereas maybe keeping some of the traditional side, because of course we're laced with history, and that's important as well. And that's what Top Rank provide as well. They provide that history, and they're still seen as that sort of great American promotional company, that still put on the pound for pound best. And so I think it's just a beautiful fusion of a sort of an establishment like Top Rank and a new, young, almost a startup like Boxer, who've had a bit of experience. They've dipped their toes in. We've seen you, we've seen others, we've seen the tournaments, and they're going to give us something different, I think.
Was there ever a time over the last few weeks where you considered almost replicating or trying to replicate the situation you had with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn and go exclusive with one promoter in the UK?
I mean, we looked at every option. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's been the worst kept secret in boxing, hasn't it, that Eddie was packing his bags for Dazn, and good luck to him. Dazn are an increasing base, and they're a very interesting platform. And obviously we've worked very closely with the likes of Joe Markowski and the others over the years, because we showed a lot of Dazn content in the early days on Sky, the international content. So we've looked at all options. Obviously, there were a lot of approaches, a lot of managers, promoters, trainers. I'm not surprised you probably came in and asked for something. But look, it's. And I think there'll be some out there that think, maybe I should have got it or whatever. But it was a process that we looked at all sorts of different ways of doing it. And I think the answer was that we felt that with an established base like Top Rank, who are going to give us regular sort of high quality international fights, which is something we haven't had for a while on a regular basis. Plus we got the ability to work with a new company who've got innovative ideas, who want to make a change, make a difference. I think it was just a great blend. I think the two sort of merged into each other, and well done to Boxer, who obviously have made sure that Top Rank are on board with their ideas. So there's a nice unity there, and I know that Todd DeBoer's been very keen on trying to get to Sky for many years, but in Boxer he's found the people that he wants to work alongside in the UK as well, because they've got this. I guess they're new, and I think yes, okay, I'm proven at the moment, but I think with working with other people and by using the big platform and the arsenal that we have, I think it's going to be a fantastic period for boxing, and it's great for fighters. You've got Dazn, you've got BT and Frank Stable, you've got Sky. We're committed like never before for 4 years, more content, both sides of the Atlantic, and I think it's terrific for fighters. They're going to have they're going to be in a good place, and that's the most important thing. You know, we can't survive. We can't. This sport is all about the fighters. I've always said it. You know, we can't. How many times I've said to you, we can't have every sweet in the jar. We can't just pick everything. No, there's competition. There's a real market. But what I do know is that Sky have been in it from the beginning in modern boxing for the last 30 years, year in, year out. We've been loyal. A lot of people have come and gone, a lot of people have played at it, but we were the ones that have stayed there and stayed with it through good times and not so good times. And it's been a difficult period in the last few months, knowing that, you know, this was coming to an end. But you know what? We've got a great synergy now with Top Rank and Boxer. We've got a real appetite. We've got our mojo back again, KUGAN, and we're ready to go. And we're ready to prove that Sky is the best platform out there.
Let's come back to the Top Rank deal. Obviously, you've announced, obviously, you're kicking off with Shakur Stevenson's fight after the Newcastle Bill tomorrow night, and then Lomachenko and Newey. I mean, we're talking about literally the best fighters in the pound-for-pound list. The question everyone wants to know is, though, what happens on July 24th? We're expecting Fury Wilder 3 to be announced next Tuesday. That's the reports. Can you kind of make any comment on where that fight sits in regards to Sky?
Well, Tyson Fury, he's not part of this deal. Tyson Fury's got his own deal with BT and ESPN, and you know that's not part of this. You know, BT, I imagine will have that fight, have the trilogy fight. They'll certainly have the ability to do first last on the deal. So look, you know, I'd absolutely love to have Fury Wilder 3. I went out for the second fight. BT did that, and it was just a privilege to be there to watch. You know, one of the great performances by a British fighter away. And now we've worked with Deontay Wilder for many years, and you know, he's got his mojo back, it seems, with Malik Scott, and he's ready for revenge. And you know, it's a fantastic fight. We all hoped, obviously, for Fury Joshua, and were thinking that was going to happen August the 14th in the desert. But you know, these things in boxing change. The arbitration came in. Fury Wilder was announced. It's July 24th. We'll all be glued into that, whether it's on BT or not. So yeah, it's not part of us, but obviously, would I like to have it? Of course, I'd like to have it. You know, and you know, I'm a boxing fan. But you know, we've got AJ and Usyk. That's a definitive Sky Sports fight, providing that gets finalised. I think they're in way down the road on that, so I'm expecting it to be announced at some point in the next week or two. But whoever AJ fights next, we're going to be right there for that, as we have been since he turned professional. So we've got a great relationship with Anthony Joshua, and you know, we're looking forward to both of those fights. One that probably won't be with us, but one that will. But also be looking at other fights that we can you know, sort of, I don't know, a Pacquiao Spence, for example. Suddenly we think, okay, maybe we can have a little look at that. And so this is an opportunity to really sort of broaden out. And I think the key is now we're making the announcement today about the 4-year commitment, the long-term commitment to boxing on Sky with these two different different sort of partnerships and contracts. And what we're going to do now is spend the next number of weeks, you know, really working on what's going to bring the best to Sky, and the different fights, the different structure, the different vision, the different look. You know, as I said, sort of mixing what we have been doing with some new novel ideas. And I think that, you know, come August, you know, you're going to really see what we're all about, and we'll go for a bigger launch in August when we've worked very, very hard over these next few weeks to make sure that, you know, the customers come first, the fans come first, and that, you know, when we're ready to roll with the UK shows, we're going to be a real business, and it's going to be very, very exciting.
Adam, has there been, or will there be, any changes in regards to talent that obviously we were used to kind of seeing on Sky moving forward? I'm assuming that you're going to possibly expand on that, but will there be any specific changes moving forward to commentators, analysis, etc., etc.? Yeah,
it was interesting with Eddie's announcement last week. He said you're going to get a fresh new talent team that, you know, that the fans want. We listen to the fans. We want to make sure that we bring the best in, you know, production, in talent, in creativity, in fights, in everything, the whole sort of package. So, of course, we've got a great talent team at Sky. Anna and Johnny and Matt and Carl, obviously, that work for us, and we've used a lot of great freelancers over the years, the likes of David Hay and Dave Colwell and Tony Bellew and many others. Natasha Jonas has been recently on Sky. She's been fantastic. Connor Ben was great. We want to look at sort of what the right blend is, and of course, if there's more content, then maybe we need more talent. That's something that we're going to be working on very hard over the next few weeks. So literally, when we finish, we've got a great show in Newcastle. Let's not forget this, tomorrow night. We're not saying it's just the last show with Matchroom. This is a big show in itself. It's a show that we can't wait for. It's exciting. We follow Lewis Ritson's career, and we're really excited to see if he can go on. And the fans are back in Newcastle. It's fantastic to be here. But we're straight on with the new stuff. It's Shaka Stevenson. Then, as I said, the Inoue and Lomachenko fights in June, and then but on a sort of, I wouldn't say a Monday to Friday, because that we work, round the clock pretty much, every day. And, Ben and John and I and the rest of the fantastic team at Sky and at Boxer and at Top Rank, we'll be looking at what we're going to do in the UK, and obviously keeping very close with Todd DeBerth and his team to see where Top Rank are going and how we can, bring some of Top Rank's fighters over here, and, and also work with other promoters and establishments around the world to see what we're doing. So I think it's a really it's a time now over the next few weeks. Now we've announced it, to really sort of look at how we want to change, and all of those conversations about production, about talent, about the look, about the feel, about the diversity, about the grassroots and the different sort of shows we can bring in and the different initiatives we can get behind. It's an open book. It's a sort of blank canvas in a way. And of course, we're very proud of what we've done in Sky Sports Boxing for many years. But we've got to embrace change. We've got to look at new ways of working, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks.
Adam, was there a sense of a little bit of disappointment with the situation regarding Eddie Hearn and Matchroom? Obviously, you labelled it as the worst kept secret. There was more speculation, I think, from the outside. We didn't kind of know from the outside world exactly what was going on. But was there a sense of disappointment that relationship, which seems almost like a marriage that's come to a divorce?
Yeah.
But there must be. It's been, you guys have kind of had that brilliant relationship over a numerous amount of years. So, yeah, is that fair to say that there was a bit of disappointment there?
Of course it is. I'm an emotional person, I'm a sensitive person, I'm a passionate person. I worked with Eddie Hearn day in, day out for a decade, and I think we've worked brilliantly together. We've put on some fantastic shows. He's been incredible as a promoter, and we've had some wonderful nights, and of course, and the partnership with Matchroom continues. We've got a long-term darts deal, and I'm even involved in that world as well now, KUGAN. So it's great that we've got other sports as well. So it's business. This there's no question that the Hearns and Matchroom and Sky are still linked in many ways with the other sports. But for boxing, it's a business, and Eddie had a very difficult decision to contemplate. He leaves a huge platform. He leaves a platform that's made him. Let's be honest, and given him that sort of chance to sort of become the boxing name and star that he has become in his own way. And so I think he knows that deep down, and he knows how not just we've worked together on a personal basis, but how much Sky have done for him and supported him and come up with different ideas as well. And we've worked brilliantly together for a long time. But I think it is you say like a divorce or a separation. It's been weird being around this week and everybody saying it's strange, they don't really know what to say, the Matchroom not going in one direction, we go in another. But that's the way business works, and I think it's a change which will be good for everybody. I think that Eddie's got a whole new sort of vibrant sort of way of that he's going to attack the Dazn contract, and he takes a big number of fighters, and he's got a big checkbook, obviously. But we've got, as I said, we've got our mojo back again. We've thankfully, you know, the big bosses have really committed to boxing for the next 4 years, and that's music to everybody's ears. And what I've seen in the early weeks, I've known Todd DeBerth for 15, 20 years. You know, we've been chewing the fat about this sort of thing, and of course, it wasn't an option for many years. But you know, he's very, very excited about this, and so is Ben. And as I said, working with Ben and John is a new challenge, and it's something that we've started off on a great note. We're very aligned. We know what we want, and that is for the good of the fans. That is for the good of the Sky fans. You know, we know we've got, you know, the Premier League football, the Formula One, the huge cricket. You know, look at the 100 that's about to launch. We've got massive golf. We've got, you know, a number of different sports. We're doing the women's football coming up. We've got the netball. We've got the, you know, the GAA. We've got so much. The darts. We've got huge amounts of sport on Sky, and we've got the Arsenal as well to go further. So we've got a lot of different ways we can attack this. What we have got is we've got the backing, we've got the commitment, and you know, you're right, you know, it was like, what would happen next? And I tell you what, I think today we've answered that. And it may be surprising to some people, you know, it might be that Boxer are new and not a lot of people have heard of them outside the sort of hardcore trade, but you will be soon, you will be seeing what they can do, and you'll be seeing what we can do. You know, with a bit more independence, with a platform that we can, you know, we can open up and we can work with different people, and that's the key. And I think, you know, it's interesting that, you know, Barry and Eddie, we're still working together on the darts and other sports. Now we're opening boxing up. We're opening boxing up and saying, right, we'll work with whoever. It doesn't matter. You've got good fighters, you've got good fights, you've got good ideas. Bring them to us. Please bring them to us. And that's a different way of working. But of course, I'm going to miss them. You know that, KUGAN, and Eddie knows that. But you know, it's business, and that's what we've got to do. We all move on, and I think the change is good for both sides.
Adam, one of the interesting things that Eddie said kind of over the last couple of weeks, it was about how much input he wanted Matchroom Media to have in the production to basically almost take it over. What was your kind of thoughts? I know it's kind of irrelevant now, but what was your thoughts about that? Because it's quite a big statement and a big thing to be doing, considering that you guys are obviously, that's your thing as well, production. And so when you hear that, what was your kind of response to
I think to be honest, I think some of the people on the boxing team, on the Sky team, were disappointed that, you know, that he probably felt that, you know, they can take it and they can do it. But I think that was part of what Eddie thought. You know, Eddie puts the events on, and I think he wanted a sort of one-stop shop, and I think that would have been part of the deal if he'd stayed with Sky. And it was, let's be honest, it was a very difficult decision for Eddie because of, you know, his loyalty to us, and also, you know, the way we've worked, and, you know, the fact that it's, you know, it's what he knows, and it's a platform that you're giving up Sky Sports. That's a big. I know he's getting a lot of money, and I know that, you know, it's a new way of working, and he's got, you know, a big chance with Dazn because they're global, you know, and they've gone into different markets. But, you know, we come back fighting with Sky Sports here, which, you know, we believe is the number one by a long way, and ESPN drew Top Rank in the States, which we believe is pretty huge over there. So we've also got the Comcast umbrella and NBC and Universal and other tricks up our sleeves. So there's a lot that he's giving up, and I think that to launch Matchroom Media is a big ask. You know, Katie's brilliant, and they'll have a fantastic sort of, they'll get great people, I'm sure, and they'll need to. But it's going to be tough, and I think that it's one thing sort of saying that, you know, production needs changing or production needs adapting, or you've got to sort of look forward. But don't think we're not doing that as well. And it's pretty difficult to sort of put on massive shows and great things. You know, we undertook Wembley for Froch Groves and AJ Klitschko and all those sort of big nights, and went to Saudi with sort of, you know, there wasn't even a venue, and, you know, there's some pretty seriously good people at Sky that sort of know what they're doing on that sort of front. And I think we back ourselves to put on the razzmatazz and the best productions. And but yeah, look, we listen to Eddie, and we're open to criticism, and we can say, right, okay, is it a chance for us to look and think about what we can do differently and what we can do better? Every day in this sport and in this business is a learning one. I've learned something every day in all my time at Sky, and I'll continue to learn, and Ben will give me some new ideas, and Johnny Wish will give me some stability and some, you know, and I think that, you know, the whiz kids at Sky and the older generation at Sky, both, it's a mixture, isn't it, between fresh thinking and gravitas. You know, I'll openly say I didn't know who KSI was 3 years ago. My son did, and he's the one that taught me all about that. And, I opened my eyes, and I love working with Bazinga and Joe Weller and all of them. And as much as Logan Paul was fantastic and Conor McGregor was great to work with, is it everyone's cup of tea? With a trade at Paul by it all? Maybe. But we've got to look at different ways of attracting new audiences all the time and keeping the traditional sort of fight fan happy. So the trade fans, the casual fans, the new fans, we want to appeal to everyone and give something for everybody. And I believe with all the content that we're going to bring, with this big new deal that's going to be pretty much week in, week out now, and on top of that, the enormous portfolio that Sky Sports have in terms of the rights markets. We've got the Lions coming up, we've got the 100 starting, we've got the Premier League rolling again. And let's not forget what's on terrestrial as well over the summer. We've got the Euros kicking off tonight, we've got Wimbledon, we've got the Olympics happening. There's so much. And competition's great. BT, Sky, Dazn, Channel 5, over the pond, ESPN and Fox and Showtime, and just talking to Stephen Espinosa, my old friend, the other day, and we can all work together in many ways. Everyone's got their businesses. I'm very confident now, KUGAN, that we've got a really, really appealing offering, and we will build it and make sure that it's the best we can deliver over the next 4 years. We've been given some firepower, and we've got the arsenal to really make it happen. And we've got the brains as well behind the scenes, and all the people that are far cleverer than than the front people. It's those brains behind the scenes that are going to be really at work in the next few weeks. And I think you'll see something really, really different when we come back in August, September. I think it's we'll still be Sky Sports Boxing. We'll still have that tradition behind us, and we'll have the right resources. But we'll also have some new ideas, some sparkles, some more creativity, because that's what we need. We need to go again. Eddie's going again, isn't he? In a whole new way. And we watch with interest. We're fascinated. We've got to do the same, and we've got to be better.
Adam, I do want to kind of go back to last weekend. From what I saw, it was a kind of a mixed response during the week about Mayweather and Logan Paul. I think off the back of none of and no disrespect to Fight TV, who put the Josh Taylor and Ramirez fight out, there wasn't any of the kind of the normal UK broadcasters that showed that fight, and off the back of that, it was almost a case of, well, how would you show Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, but didn't show Josh Taylor's undisputed fight with Ramirez? So I just wanted to kind of comment from you about that situation.
KUGAN, it was my youngest daughter's 10th birthday. She had all her mates round the night of Josh Taylor and Ramirez. They made all sorts of it was a night. I mean, we were up all night, but I was up watching Josh Taylor and Ramirez every single second of it, because like you, I'm a fight fan. Would I have wanted to do it on Sky? 100%. Could we be doing it now? 100%. So, there were difficulties, and I think that we can't have everything, right? We make business decisions. Mayweather and Logan Paul was to a totally different audience. We've stepped into that market with KSI and Logan Paul, and as I said, we adapted. It's more of a YouTube. It's more of my son and my daughter's age, the elder ones. That it's teenage. It's young. It's young people who sort of are into that YouTube world. And as I said, I found Logan Paul just an innovation, a really fantastic sort of. It's incredible what he's done and how he sort of went about that. And look, it was a tough one. Let's be honest, And I was sitting with Anna and Johnny beforehand, and I was thinking, how are we going to deal with this? And we had fun. It's an entertainment. That's what it is. It's entertainment business. You didn't have to buy it. People did, and people got what they got out of it. And for me, Floyd Mayweather's, in my opinion, the greatest fighter to lace him up since Sugar Ray Leonard. So it was slightly strange and a little bit unsavoury at times, sort of watching what he was going through, and you sort of thought, is he going to stop him? Is he not? And look, Logan did. He got through it, and it was 8 rounds, and I guess he comes out the moral victor. But look, it's one of those, and look, will we go again with it? Look, we'll look at each different thing at each time. Jake Paul's in a slightly different way going forward, and he's fighting. Showtime are committed to that. They know the business, and what we want to do, KUGAN, is we want to try and give. Look, I'm a hardcore boxing fan, right? I'll watch anything, same as you. right? There is only a limited number of us in the country. You know, that's grown through what Eddie's done, what we've done. It's grown, but there's still the majority want to watch the big fights, or they're the casual fans who watch the football or the darts, and they'll still see what's on boxing as well. And also, this is a new generation. This is a different one. It brings eyeballs to the sports, like we did with Devon Haney and Billy Joe in LA, and like we did again with, you know, the fights we had on the bill the other night. So, you know, it's you know, Arias's win and all that sort of stuff. You know, hopefully some of the young will like that, and they'll like the boxing, and it's all about bringing different viewers to boxing. And we've also got to go with you know, with the win. We've got to go with what's hot, and if people want to see that, then we're gonna, you know, we might provide a platform for them to see it. So different audiences, different times, and I understand the sort of the the outrage, and I also understand the curiosity, and that's what it was. It was curiosity, it was entertainment, and it's not Josh Taylor and Ramirez. You just can't compare. And would I have done it every day and twice on Sundays, and you know that.
Is it fair to say for both?
And I was probably the first person to congratulate Josh Taylor and Ben Davison. I was doing it as before the fight was over, you know. So,
Adam, is it fair to say that for Sky Sports and also for Dazn, the next kind of maybe 6 to 8, 10 months is a transitional period, not just for yourselves, obviously, of what you've been used to over the last 10 years, but for Dazn as well, kind of trying to break into that boxing market. They've been here since the Canelo and Callum Smith fight in December, but it's not going to be easy for either broadcaster to try and kind of get their audience together over the initial few months. You've got your established audience, but for Dazn it's kind of a different situation now.
it is a fantastic time for boxing and a fantastic time for fans, and most importantly, a wonderful and hopefully lucrative time for fighters at all levels. That's brilliant. You know, when has there been a time where there's going to be so much boxing available? It's terrific, and I think that's the most important thing. Of course it's going to be a strange, transitional, challenging time. Of course it is, you know, it's friendly fire, isn't it? And it could get a little spicy at times too, of course, because, you know, Matchroom have got a big stable, and Frank's got a big stable on BT, and, you know, we're going to build a stable in the UK, and, you know, we've got Top Rank as well, who've obviously, you know, huge around the world. So, yeah, it's just really, it's going to be a really interesting time, an intriguing time, challenging, and I think that in a way that we've known what we were doing for a number of years with Matchroom, and it's been brilliant. The partnership's been fantastic, but now it's a time where we've got to really think. We've got to be clever. We've got to be smart. We've got to, as I said, they've got smart people over there. Trust me. You know, the likes of Joe, and we all know that there's some smart cookies at Dazn. We've got some very smart people at Sky, and we need to be smarter than them. We need to be, you know, I wouldn't say it's battling. It's a slightly different thing, isn't it? They've got boxing. We've got a huge plethora, an arsenal of sport. It's different, but we want to make sure that we provide as best boxing and as different boxing, the biggest variety to our customers, to our fans, in many ways a different look going forward than we've had. And the biggest and best thing is we've got 4-year deals with these two companies, and that is going to be terrific for the customers. And I'll tell you what, we already started KUGAN. We started weeks ago, but we will be working night and day over the next few weeks to make sure that we provide the best we can. But is it going to be challenging? Is it going to be bumpy? Is it going to be turbulent? Is it going to be difficult? I see Matt Macklin out the corner of my eyes. I'm sure we're going to be talking more than we've ever talked. It's going to be, we're going to bring the brains together. We're going to try everything we can to be the most successful we can be, but we're not naive. We're not naive. You know, we know what Dazn are going to throw at it. We know what Eddie's going to throw at it, because we've worked with them. We know what they're like, and they're going to go again. And we're going to go again. KUGAN, bring it on.
Just the final question here, and it's a question I did ask to Eddie last week. In your opinion, how difficult is it to replace that kind of power machine that's behind the Sky marketing on boxing, which kind of filters through Sky Sports News, then the football, etc., that kind of cross-platform, which I did ask Eddie exactly, you know, how do you replace something that is as powerful as that?
And did he say he was going to get his tentacles into terrestrial and look at Instagram and look at the social following and how he could build with all of that? Of course, this is a I say it's friendly fire. This is business, and they've got to look at that, of course. BoxNation had a number of fight fans that sort of wanted to watch it, but it was always going to be tricky for Frank because it's boxing on its own, and we know what the readership. And of course, Boxing News has been amazing for us, but they've had to go again in social and digital markets. You've been around a long time now, and other social outlets want to be involved in boxing. Boxing's hot. It's been fantastic for the men.
Apologies, if you could just pick that up from the women. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
Just got to carry on that.
Yeah, I just say it's been a fantastic time for men's boxing, but also the women's boxing and the ascent of that, and wonderful fighters that we've come from. Obviously, the pioneer of Katie Taylor and Savannah Marshall and Chantel Cameron, and just so many. It's been wonderful, hasn't it? And I think that it's a real opportunity for the fighters, but of course it's going to be very different. Dazn they've just got boxing, and they've got a hope. They've got Eddie. That's a powerful weapon. But they've got a huge stable. But it is a different thing, and Eddie knows that. It's going to be hard. He's gonna find it. Maybe not at the beginning, but I think he's going to find it in the weeks and months to come that he's not appearing as often on Sky Sports News. And let's stay independent. We're gonna cover. We're always independent on Sky Sports and on digital, and we do articles on all sorts of fights around the world. We're not just going to sort of cover up and just go back into Sky territory. We're going to look at the whole marketplace, of course. But we have a very, very powerful platform, and I think yes, you're right. Sky Sports News, regular. We can build up fighters, we can make stars on Sky. We've proved that in the past, and we'll do it again. And this is a great platform for fighters that maybe haven't sort of had that, and they thought, you know what, we can become a hero or a heroine, we can become a star on Sky, and they've now got the platform to be able to do it. Working with Ben and Boxer, there's a real opportunity. Working with Top Rank, and it's a fantastic one. And I think the Premier League is very important, isn't it? We've got a number of years of that, and I think that we'll be utilising that every way we can, mixing with the football. And I think that they're going to find it. They're going to find it not a lonely place, because I'm sure that they'll have their ideas of how they can push their businesses to Dazn and Matchroom. But we're pretty confident that Sky Sports is the biggest sports brand by a long way in the UK and in Ireland, and I think that we've got some big plans as well with our connection now with Top Rank, that they talk about global boxing Dazn, and they're into all sorts of different territories. I don't think the platform of Sky over here and ESPN over in the States is one to sort of sniff away at. I think that's very, very powerful, and I think we'll see that in the weeks and months to come.
I know I said final one, but this is the final one. Adam, if there's fighters out there that are not exclusive, not necessarily to Matchroom, but we'll use Matchroom as the example here because you've worked with them over a number of years. But if there aren't fighters that are exclusive to Matchroom, is it a possibility that Sky could work with individual fighters moving forward as well, that people that have maybe featured on Matchroom shows before but are not kind of tied to Matchroom?
Well, we can work with anybody. As I said, Ben's Boxer deal for 4 years, Top Rank's deal for 4 years. We want the best for Sky Sports Boxing. So, our message to anyone out of contract or anyone that's, thinking about what to do with their careers, whether they're a young fighter starting up, whether they're a fighter that's been around for a few years, maybe that's lost their way, maybe that needs a reinvigoration or something. There's a whole crop of fighters out there that obviously there's huge amounts that are tied in contractually to the different promoters, to Eddie, to Frank, to others, and I think that the message is loud and clear. The message is, if you want to be involved with us, if you want to stay on the Sky platform or come on the Sky platform, or not just now, but in 6 months or a year's time. These are long-term deals. This is a long journey. We're not going to change the world in 5 minutes. It's not going to be September, October, November, December. We're going to have we're going to really work on a very powerful a powerful collection of fights and fighters on both sides of the Atlantic, all around the world. But we're not silly. It's going to take time to build, and the key is, if you want to be with us, and you can make it work. And Ben and John and I, we're around, and we're there to be called. We're there to be contacted, and we may be your solution. And and we certainly think this is a great solution for Sky, that we've got these two terrific contracts, 4 years in place, and it gives us the sort of, I wouldn't say the power, but it's all, we can look at the fights and we can say, yeah, do we like these? Do we not like these? Is this right for our customers? Is this not quite right? Do we feel this is good value? We can look at all those things on a case-by-case basis. So yeah, I think there's going to be a number of people watching this that think, you know what? We've got opportunities now. You got my number? I think people will have Ben's number pretty quick, John's number, Todd's number. We're open for business.
Adam Smith, much appreciate quite a lot of your time this evening. We look forward to a great night with 1,000 fans in the arena tomorrow. And yeah, listen, there's enough for everyone.
There's enough for everybody. It's great for boxing, and it's great for the fighters, and it's great for the fans. That's the key.
Adam Smith, thank you very much. On to IFL TV, and we'll catch up with you again very soon.
Absolutely, we'll be in the next few weeks. We'll be announcing sort of bigger plans, and yeah, we should get together again then.
100%. Thank you very much.